The war was finally over. Smoke still rose from the broken fields of Tarsi's 9, a colony world at the edge of human space. Soldiers walked among the ruins, silent and tired. The air smelled of metal, fire, and victory. For Captain Ryan Cole, victory didn't feel like joy. It felt heavy. He had seen too much death, too much pain. The alien empire of the Venari had fallen. They were once feared, tall, silver-skinned beings with glowing blue eyes. For years they fought humans in cold silence. But now their cities were ash and dust. The war had ended and humanity had won. Ryan stood in the courtyard of the command center as the crowd gathered. Flags waved. The governor's voice boomed through loudspeakers. Today we honor the heroes who saved this colony. Men and women cheered. Music played. Ryan barely listened. His uniform was dirty, his face unshaved. He only wanted rest, a quiet place to forget the screams. But his name was called. Captain Ryan Cole, hero of Tarsi's 9. People clapped. Ryan walked to the stage, unsure. He saluted weakly. The governor smiled and said, "For your bravery, Captain, you shall receive the highest honor and a personal reward." The soldiers stepped aside. A metallic gate opened. Out came a woman, alien, tall, graceful. Her silver skin shimmered under the red light of the twin suns. Her hands were bound by glowing chains. She looked frightened, her blue eyes darting around the crowd. "This," the governor said proudly, "is your gift. A captured Venari female. A symbol of our victory. She is yours, Captain Cole." The crowd roared. Men cheered, some laughed. But Ryan didn't move. His jaw tightened. He could not believe what he was seeing. The alien woman was shaking. She tried to stand tall, but fear was clear in her eyes. She didn't look like a warrior, she looked lost. Ryan turned to the governor. "Sir, this isn't right." The governor frowned. "You earned her. The Venari enslaved our people for years. Now they serve us. Take her. It's an order." Ryan stared at the chain that connected to her wrists. The crowd waited. Cameras flashed. He finally said, "As you command." His voice was cold, but inside something twisted. That night, Ryan sat in his small quarters. The alien woman was sitting in the corner, chained. She hadn't spoken a word. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dark, watching him. He placed food on the table and pushed it toward her. "Eat," he said softly. She didn't move. He sighed. "I'm not going to hurt you." After a long silence, she whispered, "Why?" Her voice was gentle, strange, like music from another world. "Because I'm not like them," Ryan said. She looked up slowly. "Humans take. Always take." Ryan shook his head. "Not all." She studied him carefully, unsure whether to believe him. For a long moment, they just sat. Two enemies trapped in the same room. Outside, the city celebrated. Fireworks exploded in the sky. Inside, the only sound was the quiet hum of her chains. Ryan couldn't sleep. He kept glancing at her. She was different from what he had imagined. The Venari were said to be cruel and heartless, but this woman looked more human than monster. He noticed her hands trembling. He walked closer, and she flinched back instantly. "Easy," he said. "I just want to loosen the cuffs." He pressed a button on the chain's lock. It flickered, then powered down slightly. She looked at him, surprised. "You free me?" "No," he said softly. "But I'll make sure you're not in pain." She whispered something in her language, a quiet sound that almost felt like gratitude. Ryan sat back down, rubbing his eyes. He didn't know what to do with her. He didn't want a slave, but refusing her was treason. The military wanted trophies, not peace. He glanced again at the alien woman. Her name, he learned from her collar tag, was Alyra. "Alyra," he said quietly. She looked up. Tomorrow, he told her. I'll find a way to get you out of here, safely. Alyra didn't reply. She simply stared at him, eyes shining like distant stars. That night, as Ryan finally drifted into uneasy sleep, he didn't know. The woman sitting silently in his room was more than just a prisoner. She was the beginning of something far bigger than war or peace, something that would change his destiny forever. The morning light crept through the steel window of Ryan's quarters. It touched the cold floor, the metal walls, and finally the chained alien sitting in silence. Her name, Alyra, still echoed in his head. Ryan woke to the soft hum of machines outside, the city rebuilding, the soldiers celebrating. But his room was quiet. Too quiet. He turned and saw her still awake, still watching. She hadn't slept all night. Her chains glowed faint blue against her skin. He could see the marks on her wrists, thin, red, painful. He sighed and stood up. You didn't sleep, he said softly. I don't sleep in cages, she replied, voice low, calm but full of sorrow. Ryan looked away. You're not a prisoner. Not here. She gave a bitter smile. I am chained. That means prisoner. He didn't argue. Instead, he poured water into a metal cup and handed it to her. She hesitated before taking it. Her fingers brushed his cold and trembling. For the first time he noticed how delicate she seemed. The story said the Venari were cruel and emotionless. But this woman, she was different. There was fear, pain, and something else. Pride. Ryan sat down across from her. I don't want you to be afraid of me, he said. She looked straight into his eyes. Then removed the chains. He froze. He couldn't, not yet. The military kept constant records, every prisoner, every movement. If she escaped, they would call it treason. They would kill them both. I can't, he said quietly. Not now. But I'll find a way. Alyra's eyes softened a little. Humans always say later. Later never comes. Her words stung. Ryan had no answer. He just looked at the glowing cuffs again. Does it hurt? Yes, she whispered. He reached out, slowly, and touched the metal. It was hot, like it was burning her skin. He grabbed his toolkit and tried to adjust the settings. Sparks flew. She flinched. Easy, he said. Almost done. He rewired a small circuit, and the light faded. The cuffs loosened slightly. Alyra's expression changed, the first hint of relief. Better, she murmured. Ryan nodded. Good. For a long time they sat in silence. Outside, soldiers laughed and music played. Inside, two enemies began to see each other differently. Ryan asked softly, Why did your people fight us? Alyra looked at the floor. We didn't start it. Humans came first. Took our worlds, our minds, our skies. You called it expansion. We called it invasion. Ryan didn't deny it. Maybe you're right, he said. But not all humans wanted war. She tilted her head. And yet here we are. He smiled sadly. Yeah, here we are. Hours passed. Ryan had to leave for briefing. Before he left, he looked at her again. Don't be afraid. I'll come back. When he stepped out, the hallway was filled with officers. One of them, Commander Hale, a cold, sharp man, stopped him. Cole, Hale said, smirking. How's your reward? Still alive? Ryan kept his face blank. Yes, sir. She's under control. Hale chuckled. Good, keep her in line. Those aliens bite. Ryan nodded and walked away, anger boiling quietly inside him. When he returned hours later, Alyra was standing near the window, still chained, watching the twin suns set. The orange light reflected in her silver skin, making her look almost unreal. You didn't try to escape, he said. She turned slightly. Escape where? There is no home left for me. Ryan swallowed hard. He wanted to say something, comfort her maybe, but no words came. Then she asked suddenly, "Why are you kind to me?" Ryan hesitated. "Because you don't deserve this." She looked confused. "You kill my people in battle, yet you give me water and food. Which human are you?" "The one who's tired of war," he said. A small silence passed. Then, very softly, she whispered, "Then maybe you are not my enemy." Ryan froze. It was the first time she didn't speak with hate. He sat down across from her again. "Maybe not," he said. "But if anyone finds out I helped you, I'll lose everything." Alyra's blue eyes glowed faintly. "Then you already risk too much." He smiled weakly. "I guess I do." That night, as Ryan watched her fall asleep for the first time, he realized something dangerous. He didn't see a prisoner anymore. He saw a person, and deep down, he knew this was only the beginning of something that could destroy them both. Or save them. Asterisk. The next morning, the sun rose red over the metal towers of Tarsi's 9. It was the color of war, not peace. The colony was alive again. Soldiers laughing, machines rebuilding, drones flying through dusty skies. But inside Ryan's quarters, time stood still. Alyra sat near the window, silent as ever, the faint light touching her silver skin. Ryan had been awake for hours, staring at a single datapad, the new orders. The military was planning to ship all captured Venari to labor camps. There, they would mine uranium until they died. He read the words again and again. His hands shook. If they found Alyra in his care, unchained, alive, unharmed, he would be executed. Yet, the thought of sending her to those mines burned inside him. He looked at her. "Alyra," he said quietly, "if I don't stop them, they'll take you away. All of your people too." She looked at him calmly. "Humans always take. Why stop now?" Ryan leaned forward. "Because maybe it's time someone did." Alyra studied him for a long moment, then said softly, "You would fight your own people for me?" "I don't know," he whispered. "But I can't watch another innocent die." There was silence between them, heavy, electric. Alyra turned her face toward the window again. "If you try to save us," she said, "you'll lose everything." Ryan smiled faintly. "Then I have something to lose again." Later that day, Ryan walked through the military sector. His boots echoed on the steel floor. He passed groups of officers laughing, unaware of the quiet storm growing in his chest. When he reached the communication hub, he slipped a small data chip into the system. It held the coordinates of the Venari refugee zones, secret camps hidden in the mountains, where a few survivors still lived. He wanted to send Alyra there, but as he worked, he heard footsteps behind him. "Cole," said a voice. Ryan froze. It was Commander Halle. "Sir," Ryan said quickly, turning. Halle looked suspicious. "You're not supposed to be here." Ryan forced a smile. "Just checking supply reports." Halle stepped closer. His cold eyes studied Ryan's face. "You've been acting strange since the award ceremony. Is the alien giving you trouble?" Ryan's pulse quickened. "No, sir. She's under control." "Good," Halle smirked. "Because I'd hate to hear my best soldiers gone soft over some glowing-eyed pet." Ryan clenched his fists but said nothing. Halle patted his shoulder, then walked away. As soon as the door closed, Ryan exhaled. He knew now. Halle suspected something. He returned to his quarters fast. Alyra was standing by the bed, tense. She could feel something had changed. What happened? She asked. "They're coming for the captives," Ryan said. "Tomorrow. I have to move you tonight." Her chains rattled softly. "Move me where?" "Somewhere safe. Outside the colony walls." She stared at him, disbelief flickering across her face. "You would risk your life for me?" Ryan met her eyes. "I already did the day I refused to see you as property." For the first time, Alyra smiled, small, faint, but real. Then let me help you. Ryan hesitated. You'll need to trust me. And you'll need to trust me, she replied. He unlocked the energy cuffs. They fell to the ground with a quiet thud. The moment they did, Alyra straightened her back. Her body shimmered faintly, her eyes glowing brighter than ever. It was like watching someone breathe for the first time. Your power. Ryan whispered. It's back. She nodded. The chains blocked my energy. Now I can hide us for a short time. But we must hurry. Night fell. The colony lights flickered across the steel streets. Ryan led Alyra through narrow alleys, both moving like shadows. Every sound felt too loud, every step too dangerous. Then, a voice cut through the silence. Ryan Cole. He froze. Commander Hale stood at the end of the street, gun raised. I knew it, Hale hissed. You're helping it escape. Ryan drew his weapon. Don't do this, Hale. You think she's human? She's the enemy. Hale shouted. Alyra stepped forward, eyes glowing blue. We were never the enemy, she said softly. In that moment, something strange happened. The air shimmered around them. Hale fired, but the bullets bent away, vanishing into light. Alyra had created a force field. Run! Ryan shouted. They vanished into the night, the alarms blaring behind them. By dawn, they had reached the outskirts, endless red deserts stretching under two suns. Both of them were exhausted, dirty, but alive. Ryan looked at Alyra. You saved my life back there. She looked at him quietly. No, she said. You saved mine first. Ryan smiled, breathing heavily. Then we're even. Alyra turned her gaze to the horizon, her eyes glowing like stars. No, Captain. This is only the beginning. And in the distance, the sound of sirens echoed. The hunt had begun. The twin suns of Tarsi's 9 burned high above the endless red desert. Wind howled through the cracked ground, carrying the echo of alarms from far behind. Ryan and Alyra moved through the heat, exhausted but alive. Their boots sank into the dust, and every breath felt like fire. They had been running for hours. The colony was miles away now, but the chase had not stopped. Drones still searched the skies, metallic vultures scanning for heat signatures. Ryan's body ached, his throat dry, his gun low on power. Alyra walked beside him, her silver skin shimmering under the harsh sun. Even tired and wounded, she moved gracefully, like she didn't belong to this broken planet. Her blue eyes watched the horizon. They won't stop, she said quietly. Your people will hunt us until we vanish. Ryan nodded. Then we don't vanish. We survive. Alyra turned to him. You speak like a soldier. He smiled faintly. That's because I am one. The heat shimmered around them. Ryan stopped suddenly. He pointed to a dark shape rising from the sand, an old bunker, half buried in dust. There, he said. We'll rest there. Inside, it was cool and dark. The air smelled of rust and old circuits. Broken screens flickered weak light, showing the symbol of the old Tarsi's Research Command, a base long abandoned before the war. Ryan set his pack down and collapsed against a wall. Alyra stood still, looking at the glowing symbols on the walls. She touched one, and it came to life. Blue light spread across the bunker, powering ancient machines. Holograms flickered. A man's voice echoed softly. Project Genesis. Log 17. Testing alien genome samples for fusion compatibility. Ryan frowned. What is this? Alyra's expression darkened. This is where it began. What began? She turned to him slowly. Your war. My people. All of it. Ryan stared at her. What do you mean? Alyra's voice trembled slightly. Your scientists came to our world first, decades ago. They wanted our energy, our technology. When we refused, They took samples of our DNA. They built weapons from it, weapons that could merge human and Venari blood. Ryan felt the air leave his chest. That can't be true. She looked at him sadly. You think I lie? He shook his head. No, I didn't know. Alyra stepped closer. You weren't supposed to know. They told your soldiers that we attacked first. But we only defended our worlds. You were sent to destroy what your leaders created. Ryan's hands clenched. He looked at the hologram again. It showed human scientists injecting glowing blue liquid into human test subjects. Most of them screamed and fell. Only one survived. He looked closer and froze. The survivor's face looked familiar. It's me, he whispered. Alyra's eyes widened. You? Ryan stumbled back. The hologram showed his younger self, confused, strapped to a table. The same faint glow ran through his veins. No, he said softly. I was injured in my first campaign. They told me they gave me a regeneration serum. Alyra touched his arm gently. They lied, Ryan. You carry part of my people inside you. The truth hit him like a storm. Half human, half alien. The perfect soldier. A living experiment. Ryan sank to the floor, head in his hands. All this time, I was fighting against what I am. Alyra knelt beside him. You were never their weapon, Ryan. You chose your own heart. That is what makes you human. He looked up at her. Then what does that make you? She smiled faintly. Your mirror. The silence was broken by a sharp sound, the buzzing of drones outside. Red lights blinked through the bunker cracks. They found us, Ryan said. Alyra closed her eyes. I can shield us for a few seconds. But not for long. Ryan loaded his gun. Then we fight our way out. She placed a hand on his chest. No, you can't fight everyone. He met her gaze. Watch me. The door exploded open. Armed soldiers stormed in, shouting. Alyra raised her hands. Blue light burst from her palms, creating a wave of energy that threw them back. Ryan grabbed her hand. Move! They ran through the back corridor as the bunker collapsed behind them. Dust and fire filled the air. When they reached the surface again, the desert glowed under the twin suns, endless, empty, alive. Ryan turned to Alyra. If what you said is true, then this war isn't between humans and Venari. It's between truth and lies. Alyra nodded. And now, both sides will want us dead. Ryan tightened his grip on his weapon. Then let's make sure we stay alive long enough to expose them. She looked at him, the light of the suns reflecting in her eyes. Then, Captain Cole, we fight together. And as they walked deeper into the desert, the sandstorm rose behind them, the beginning of a war neither side was ready for. Asterisk. The red desert stretched endlessly behind them. For days, Ryan, Cole, and Alyra had walked through wind and dust, chased by drones, hunted by men who once called Ryan their hero. The suns burned high, the air tasted like rust, and the nights were full of strange whispers, mechanical sounds echoing across the dunes. Ryan's body was exhausted, but his mind burned with questions. He could still see that hologram, his own face on the screen, the truth of what he was. Half human, half Venari. A weapon born from lies. When the sun began to sink, Alyra stopped. We're close, she said softly. Ryan looked around. Close to what? She knelt, brushing sand away from a metal plate buried beneath their feet. Strange Venari symbols glowed faintly. She pressed her hand to them, and the ground trembled. The sand slid away, revealing a hidden hatch. A narrow stairway led down into darkness. Ryan raised an eyebrow. You planned this? Alyra smiled faintly. Not planned, remembered. Asterisk. They descended, the heavy door closing above them with a hiss. Cool air surrounded them, thick with the hum of machinery. Lights flickered on one by one. revealing a vast underground chamber. Hundreds of people stood there, both humans and Venari. Some wore tattered uniforms, others rags. They turned, startled at the sight of Ryan's gun and Alyra's glowing eyes. Then a tall woman stepped forward. She had gray streaks in her hair, a scar across her cheek, and eyes that held authority. "Who are you?" she demanded. Ryan lowered his weapon. "Captain Ryan Cole, former Alliance officer." Murmurs spread through the crowd. The woman frowned. "The hero of Tarsi's 9? The one who burned our cities?" Ryan hesitated. "I didn't know the truth then." He nodded toward Alyra. "She showed me." The woman's gaze softened slightly as she looked at Alyra. "You brought him here?" Alyra nodded. "He's not our enemy." "Not anymore." The woman crossed her arms. "You both better come with me." They followed her through winding tunnels into a command room filled with old screens and maps. The air buzzed with quiet energy. "My name is Siren Vale," the woman said. "I lead the free network. We're what's left of those who refuse to serve either side." Ryan studied the glowing maps. "You're fighting both the human government and the Venari warlords?" "Fighting?" Siren gave a sad laugh. "No, surviving." She gestured to a screen, showing human factories, slave camps, and giant ships orbiting the planet. "You think the war ended?" "It just changed shape." Ryan clenched his fists. "They're building something. I've seen the plans." "Project Genesis." Siren's eyes narrowed. "You know about Genesis?" He nodded. "I was part of it." Without knowing. The room fell silent. Alyra stepped forward. "They used his blood. He carries both of our species." Siren looked at Ryan as if seeing him for the first time. "Then you're the key," she said. Ryan frowned. "Key to what?" Siren pulled up a hologram. It showed a massive orbital station above Tarsi's 9. Black, shining, shaped like a ring. "This," she said, "is Genesis Station. It's where they plan to merge the DNA of both species into one hybrid army. Soldiers who can survive any planet, obey any order." Ryan's stomach twisted. "They're turning people into weapons." Siren nodded grimly. "And they'll use you to finish it. Your blood is proof it works." Alyra stepped closer to him, her voice steady. "Then we destroy it." The room went silent again. The rebels stared. Siren raised an eyebrow. "Destroy Genesis Station? That's suicide." Ryan looked at Alyra. "Maybe. But if we don't, they'll enslave both our species forever." Siren studied them for a long moment. Then she smiled. "You're both insane." "Probably," Ryan said. "Good," she replied. "That's what we need." Hours later, the base buzzed with movement. Rebels prepared weapons, repaired ships, loaded supplies. Ryan watched them, humans and Venari working side by side. It felt strange, but right. Alyra approached him, her step silent. "You're quiet," she said. "Just thinking," he replied. "About everything I thought I knew." Alyra looked at him softly. "Your world lied to you. But lies can't kill truth forever." Ryan turned to her. "And you? What do you believe in now?" She smiled faintly. "I believe in what we are becoming." For a moment, their eyes met, the soldier and the alien. Two broken souls standing in the ruins of two worlds. Then the alarm blared. Siren's voice shouted through the speakers. "Scanners show a dropship approaching." "They found us." Ryan grabbed his gun. Alyra's eyes began to glow brighter, blue light wrapping around her hands. Siren shouted, "Get ready. If they want a war, we'll give them one." Ryan looked at Alyra. "Guess the universe doesn't like peace." She smirked. "Then we'll teach it." The ceiling shook as explosions hit the surface. Dust rained from above and deep under the burning sands of Tarsi's 9. The rebellion was reborn, The ground shook like thunder. Alarms screamed across the tunnels of the underground base. The air filled with smoke and panic. Red lights flashed on every wall as people shouted and ran for cover. Ryan Cole grabbed his rifle and rushed toward the command room. "Status report," he yelled. "Enemy dropships," shouted a rebel technician. "They're breaching the main entrance, multiple squads, heavy artillery." Ryan looked at Siren Vale, who was loading her sidearm. "How did they find us?" Siren's jaw tightened. "There's a traitor. Someone gave them our coordinates." A sharp explosion cut through her words. The ceiling cracked, dust falling like rain. Ryan turned. Alyra was already there, eyes glowing bright blue. Energy flowing through her hands. "Ryan," she said firmly. "They're coming through the lower tunnels." "Then that's where we hold them," he replied. They ran side by side through the smoke-filled corridors. The sound of boots, shouting, and gunfire echoed everywhere. The rebels were outnumbered. Soldiers in black armor stormed through the tunnels, led by none other than Commander Halle. Ryan's stomach turned when he saw him through the dust. Hale's voice echoed like cold steel. "Find the hybrid and the alien. Bring them alive." Alyra's energy pulsed. "He means you," she whispered. Ryan smirked grimly. "He means us." The first wave hit. Soldiers poured into the tunnels, rifles blazing. Ryan ducked behind a pillar, firing controlled bursts. Blue sparks flew as bullets hit Alyra's force shield. "Left flank!" she shouted. Ryan rolled across the floor, firing again. "I've got it." The corridor turned into chaos, light, smoke, and screams. Alyra sent a shockwave of blue energy down the hall, knocking soldiers off their feet. Ryan dragged one rebel away from collapsing rubble. Siren's voice came through the comms. "Cole, the power grid's failing. We can't hold them much longer." Ryan looked at Alyra. "We need to fall back to the reactor room." They ran again, through flickering corridors and burning consoles. When they burst into the reactor chamber, the air shimmered with heat. Massive engines hummed around them, feeding energy to the base's defenses. Alyra touched one of the reactors. "If they take this room, the base dies." Ryan's eyes narrowed. "Then we don't let them." The door burst open. Halle stepped in, his armor gleaming in the red light. Soldiers flanked him, rifles ready. Well, Halle said. "The hero of Tarses 9. Look at you now, hiding underground with an alien." Ryan raised his gun. "Drop your weapon, Halle." Halle laughed. "You think you're human, Cole? You're not. You're a failed experiment. A mistake they tried to bury." Alyra's eyes flashed. "He's more human than you'll ever be." Halle sneered. "Says the creature we built him from." Ryan's grip tightened. "You knew?" "Of course," Halle said proudly. "I was there when they injected you. You were supposed to lead the hybrid army. But you broke protocol, grew a conscience. That made you dangerous." Rain's voice was steady, cold. "Guess I still am." He fired. Halle dove behind cover. Bullets tore through metal. Alyra raised her hands. The air shimmered blue. Energy surged, throwing soldiers back. Halle rose again, aiming his rifle. "You can't stop Genesis, Cole. It's already begun." Alyra stepped forward, her voice calm and deadly. "Then we'll end it before it ends us." She unleashed a wave of power. The walls shook, light exploded, and every circuit in the room blew out. Halle was thrown across the floor, his armor sparking. Ryan grabbed Alyra's arm. "We have to go." The reactor alarms blared. Warning core overload in 60 seconds. They sprinted through collapsing halls. Flames chased them as the reactor screamed behind. Ryan looked back once. The whole base was falling apart. Siren appeared at the exit, shouting, "This way." She waved them toward a tunnel leading upward. Alyra turned to her. The others? Most escaped, Siren said, coughing from smoke. Some didn't. Go now. Ryan hesitated, but Alyra pulled him forward. We can't save everyone, she said softly. He nodded, guilt burning in his chest. Then we make their deaths mean something. They reached the surface as the ground erupted behind them. The explosion rose into the sky, a burning flower of fire and metal. The rebel base was gone. The shockwave knocked them to the ground. When Ryan opened his eyes, the desert around them was glowing with falling debris. Alyra lay beside him, breathing heavily. We're alive, she whispered. Ryan sat up, staring at the burning horizon. Yeah. But now we're alone. Siren stumbled up beside them, blood on her sleeve but still standing. Not alone, she said weakly. You've started something bigger than this. The people will hear about what happened here. They'll know the truth. Ryan looked at the distant smoke. Then we finish it. We end Genesis. Alyra met his eyes. Together? He smiled faintly. Always. The wind howled through the desert, carrying the ash of the fallen base. The rebellion wasn't dead. It had been reborn in fire, and as they walked away from the ruins, the stars above flickered, as if the universe itself was watching the storm they were about to unleash. The stars above Tarsi's 9 burned cold and distant. Against the black sky, a silver ring shimmered, massive, perfect, terrifying. Genesis Station. It hung in orbit like a crown of death, its lights pulsing with quiet menace. From the desert below, it looked peaceful. But Ryan Cole knew better. That was where the end would begin. He stood on a cliff, wind whipping through his torn uniform. Beside him, Alyra adjusted the stolen communicator. Her eyes glowed faintly in the night. Behind them, the surviving rebels, fewer than 20, prepared the small shuttle that would carry them into the belly of the beast. Ryan looked at Alyra. Once we're inside, there's no way back. Alyra's voice was calm. Then we make sure there's no need to go back. Siren Vale, wounded but unbroken, stepped forward. You destroy Genesis. You end this. For both of our people. Ryan nodded. If we don't make it. Siren cut him off. Then we'll tell your story. Alyra placed her hand on Ryan's arm. Let's go. Before the world changes without us. The shuttle broke through the atmosphere, fire streaking across its hull. The massive ring of Genesis Station grew larger, its surface crawling with ships and drones. They approached the underbelly, hiding behind radiation shadows. Alyra guided the craft with steady hands, her mind linking with the alien tech around them. Docking bay in sight, she whispered. No life readings nearby. Ryan loaded his rifle and took a breath. Then let's wake the monster. The ship slid silently into the docking port. Metal clamped shut. The door hissed open. Cold, white light flooded the cabin. They stepped out into silence, long corridors of polished steel, the hum of machines echoing endlessly. The walls glowed faintly with veins of blue light, the same color as Alyra's eyes. She touched the wall gently. This place. It's alive. Ryan frowned. Alive? It's built with Venari biometal. Your people fused it with their machines. He grimaced. They turned your technology into a cage. As they moved deeper into the station, the lights shifted. The air grew colder. Then they saw them, tanks, lined across a vast hall. Inside each one floated a body, part human, part Venari, glowing faintly blue. Thousands of them. Soldiers asleep, waiting. Ryan felt sick. They did it. They finished Genesis. Alyra's voice shook. No. They created monsters. A deep voice echoed behind them. Not monsters, Captain. The future. Ryan spun around. Commander Holly stood at the far end of the hall, armor gleaming under the cold light. His face was scarred, his smile cruel. You survived the desert, Halle said. Good. I wanted you to see what you were born for. Ryan raised his weapon. I wasn't born for this. Halle stepped closer, unarmed. You can't deny what's in your blood, Cole. You are Genesis, the first perfect blend. Join us. Lead the army that will unite both species forever. Ryan's finger hovered over the trigger. Unite by enslaving them? Hale's smile vanished. Sacrifice is the price of peace. Alyra's voice was cold. Peace built on cages is just another war. Hale's eyes flickered toward her. You corrupted him. Maybe, Ryan said. Or maybe she showed me what being human really means. Halle moved fast, drawing his weapon. But before he could fire, Alyra unleashed a pulse of blue energy. It hit him like a wave, throwing him back across the hall. The tanks cracked, alarms screamed. Ryan grabbed Alyra's hand. We need to get to the core. They ran through the chaos, soldiers flooding in, drones firing. Alyra deflected blasts with her shield, Ryan returning fire with deadly precision. The path led to the heart of Genesis, a massive glowing sphere. Suspended above a pit of light, Alyra stopped at the control console. This is it. The mind of Genesis. Ryan aimed at the core. We blow it up. She shook her head. It won't work. It will rebuild. You have to merge with it. Your blood is the key to its destruction. Ryan froze. You mean I have to die? Alyra's eyes softened. No. You have to choose. He looked at her for a long time. The woman who once stood before him in chains was now the only person he trusted. He smiled faintly. Guess I was never meant to live easy. He stepped toward the core. Blue light wrapped around him, glowing veins spreading across his arms. Pain shot through his body, but inside the pain was peace. He saw memories of war, of Alyra, of the moment he first saw fear in her eyes and chose mercy. Alyra whispered, tears falling silently. Ryan, he smiled at her. Tell them the truth. The core exploded in light. A wave of energy swept through the station, breaking every chain, shattering every clone tank. Alarms died. The ring began to collapse, burning as it fell toward the planet below. Alyra was thrown into an escape pod by the Force. The hatch sealed automatically. Through the window, she saw Ryan, standing in the light calm. Fading like a star at dawn. The pod shot into space as Genesis Station disintegrated. When Alyra awoke on the desert sands of Tarsi's 9. The sky was full of falling fire. Pieces of the station burned like comets. She looked up and whispered, he kept his promise. Siren's voice came through the communicator. Is it done? Alyra smiled faintly, her tears glowing blue in the sunrise. Yes, he ended Genesis. Far above, the last light of the station faded, but in its place, the dawn rose brighter than ever. Human and Venaria alike would remember his name, Ryan Cole, the man who chose mercy over power, and his story would live forever, whispered in both worlds. As the day a soldier married his enemy and saved them both.